DerpyCon 2021, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. DerpyCon was a multi-genre convention held from October 29th to the 31st, 2021 at the Hyatt Regency New Brunswick in New Brunswick, New Jersey. This was a big year for DerpyCon. The convention was finally moving away from its original home in Morristown, New Jersey. Unfortunately, that hotel had problems with security being overzealous and the convention space being dated. Now, I do have a conflict of interest. I have a relationship with this convention. I've had a very long-term relationship with this convention, and I want you to be aware of that. Let's see how DerpyCon did. For the good, the new venue ended up being actually pretty good. It has a lot of space, and there is room for DerpyCon to grow. The attached parking garage ended up being very convenient and very easy to use. It was attached via elevator. The convention's COVID policy worked really well. You had to show vaccination or a negative test, and masks were required at all times. It seemed to work very effectively. I saw almost no examples of the rules not being followed. Guidebook was easy and convenient to use. It's a nice thing that conventions do to bring guidebook in. It is a little more expensive than a lot of other options, but it does work really well. Something unique to this convention, staff really like to participate in the panels, and that's a great thing. A lot of times con staff might be too busy or too stressed, but this con, you see staff jumping into panels, being participants, and it's a great thing for staff to do at a convention, and we just really like it. The video game room was excellent this year. Huge video game room, and they had basically all kinds of retro consoles. They had pinball machines. They had various stand-up cabinets. The video game room might be the biggest surprise of this convention this year and how much bigger and honestly better it got. The atrium is a nice large open area right outside of main events in the dealer's room. That's going to be interesting to see how they use in the future. It's a wide open space with plenty of room, and it'll be interesting to see how DerpyCon continues to utilize this space. Thankfully, New Brunswick had a lot of food options. Now, Morristown did too, but it seems like New Brunswick has even more, and there were several with discounts negotiated by the convention. Now, how good these restaurants were, that varies depending on your experience, but having a discount is nice. From closing ceremonies, we found out that this convention was planned in roughly 3 months, so kudos to DerpyCon the staff for pulling off this convention in such a short amount of time. For the bad, there really wasn't anything that bad at this convention. For the ugly, what should have been better? There were various small hotel issues. Specifically with the condition of my room, there were a lot of little things I could tell that this hotel might be in a little bit of a state of transition, upgrading rooms and such. There was just a lot of small issues, like some things looking worn that could easily be cleaned up with perhaps a polish or a coat of paint. The elevator, one of them did break the last day, which wasn't the best thing, but thankfully, the elevators at this con really did handle the crowd well. There were just these little small things that start to add up. The cafe was hit or miss. I had chicken strips and fries at one point. The chicken strips were perfectly fine. The fries were not perfectly fine. I had a friend who ate there twice, and his comment was, neither item really met his expectations, but were edible. So the cafe probably could use some improvement. There was also the schedule gap issue. The schedule had an hour between each panel, and the issue with that is it kind of slows the mojo of the con down, which might be a bad thing, and you could have fit more programming in. Some of this was due to COVID policy, and I'm hoping in the future that they can maybe limit it down to a half hour between panels, which would be great for the panelists, but still provide a little more content in those panel rooms. And finally, the guidebook really needed to have descriptions on every panel in the convention. The guidebook was kind of hit or miss providing descriptions. Overall, the move to New Brunswick was successful. Seemed to have very few issues. The hotel staff were great. There wasn't overzealous security. New Brunswick will be the home for DerpyCon for the foreseeable future. This convention's demographic is trending younger. It'll be interesting to see how DerpyCon plans for the future with this, as many attendees, this was either their first convention or their first DerpyCon. Now, I'm giving this convention a B. I think they achieved every goal they were hoping to achieve this year. The convention ran, It ran safely. There are some areas for improvement, and I'm interested to see where this convention continues to go in the future. Thanks for watching.